Do you think that multicultural societies can survive without authoritarianism?
Generally not. A great example is Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia, an intensely ethnic country in the Balkans, flourished, positively flourished under a communist dictatorship. It was the poster boy for communism under Tito. The moment you try to introduce democracy, then there is the problem, because each group then pits itself against every other group. And can we just again, very seriously, Stephen, we're talking about a tragedy. We're talking about a profound world-scale tragedy, which is why Elon Musk's language is not inappropriate. The Britain I grew up in was the most peaceful, the most gentle, homogenous society that has ever existed. Why we did not need identity cards, why there are extraordinarily low levels of crime, such high levels of public trust. That has been destroyed. It has been deliberately destroyed by Tony Blair and New Labour with this absurd notion that they were going to force us to become multi-ethnic for our good. They were going to rub the noses of the whites in the dirt. And sorry, we've got to understand that. It is an act of such inconceivable national self-harm.
You mentioned rubbing the noses of the whites. I think you're referring to a comment about rubbing the noses of the right in diversity, which was allegedly a comment that a Blairite politician made at the time. And it's interesting, you talk about high trust society. Lee Kuan Yew, the Singaporean leader, he wrote about coming to Britain, I think in the 1940s, and he wrote about how amazing it was that we were able to have some kind of trust box or some like newspaper box or something where you kind of take a newspaper and you put the money in. And he just thought this was an absolutely exceptional, amazing example of civilization. And then Singapore famously is a multi-ethnic, multicultural country, and he was very successful in making that country succeed. And many would argue he did that through authoritarianism. So do you think that this is inevitable in Britain today?
Right, let's be quite clear about Lee Kuan Yew. It was absolute authoritarianism. What there is in Singapore is a very, very high level of economic freedom and absolutely no serious level of political freedom or freedom of speech. And the risk is we go or try to go down that route. And again, it's easy to see why we might.